The picture was coveted by every studio and distributor in the country. Everyone wanted it. When the legal department saw the picture, they said layoff. Charles Bronson is the first person we think of as a rough man. He showed the world that hard effort always gives you power. Change your life. What if we told you he had a problematic portion that the world went crazy about, and his daughter confirmed? What was its secret? To learn, we must grasp Charles Bronson's beginnings. In 1921, a baby was born in Pennsylvania coal mining community Scoop community. His name was Charles. So known was Charles. His childhood was spent struggling to make ends meet. His family struggled in a coal mining village, raising him in poverty. Bronson was 10 when his hero died. After years in the mines, his father died of lung illness. Charles was forever changed by this early loss. This catastrophe thrust him into responsibility and hard effort. Quite young. As the 11th of 15 children, he grew up in a crowded, financially unstable household where every penny was valuable. The family's struggles to care for themselves showed Bronson's early poverty, which was distressing. He was humiliated at 6 when he was denied self-respect. He wore hand-me-downs to school on his first day. Not your typical hand-me-downs. A dress from an older sister was among the used clothes. Among the used clothes. Quite different from his image, right? This early event shaped Bronson. Maybe it was what made him a man we knew. Bronson shriveled in the coal mines by his teens. He worked in dark, cramped tunnels for low wages because he was smart. Maybe the money we think is tiny was a fortune to him, but he had to work hard. The hard job left him with calloused hands and permanent scars on his young body, reminding him of his childhood hardships. However, Bronson remained working to improve his life and his family's. The labor horn and cramp whip started and ended Scoop Town life. Families like the Binskys struggled to make a living in coal mining. The poverty of Bronson's childhood shaped his worldview and taught him the value of hard work and dedication. His distinctive portraits of tough and determined individuals were inspired by these early experiences. Bronson's childhood poverty inspired his desire to escape his background and find a better life beyond Pennsylvania's coal mines, a life under the stars on clear nights. Despite his struggles, Bronson kept his hopes of a better future alive, which fueled his will to succeed. Charles was impoverished and hungry, yet he never had a cold heart. Behind his hunger and bruises was a boy who loved his country. The boy showed great patriotism. The Pearl Harbor attack sparked his patriotism. When Bronson was drafted into the Army in 1943, his life changed. Bronson's military experience differed from his friend's frontline battle. In Arizona, he learned gunnery and played a crucial part in the fight. Charles was fortunate not to suffer the same risks as his infantry colleagues at this post. Despite not seeing actual combat, Bronson's military service may have shaped his future. Bronson wanted a new start after the war's devastation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He moved from coal mines to military barracks to Hollywood. Despite leaving the Army, his discipline, camaraderie, and sense of duty were ingrained in him, making him a wonderful actor. The military gave Bronson vital skills and experiences that he used throughout his acting career. He may not have dominated the silver screen because of his gunner training, but his military discipline and tenacity helped him succeed. Bronson's time in the military may have inspired his portrayal of strong, uncompromising characters on screen, adding realism and depth to his performances. After leaving the service, he could return to his modest coal mining job or become something more. It may have been his first choice, so he did it. He followed his heart and decided to live among the stars. He ended up in Hollywood. His life changed after World War II when he became an actor. Despite the obstacles, his acting transformation took time. Instead, it started slowly with odd jobs and modest film roles. He started as Charles Bukinski, but when he believed his name wasn't celebrity enough, he changed it to Charles Bronson, driven by the terror and suspicion surrounding communism at the time. Bronson's early career was built on willpower alone. He generally played strong, uncompromising characters which audiences liked. He was recognized for his unique voice and rough appearance, which separated him apart from other leading men of his period and helped him succeed. As his career progressed, Bronson became noted for his ability to bring depth and realism to his characters. Though tough on screen, he was a talented actor who could play several personalities. Bronson's portrayals of rugged combatants and sad prisoners of war captivated audiences and made him a Hollywood star. In 1963's The Great Escape, Bronson played Flight Lieutenant Danny Tunnel King Wilinski, a famous part. Charles was intended to construct a tunnel from the prison cell, but he suffered claustrophobia and was exhausted even on camera. But he wouldn't miss a chance. Bronson's performance wowed a vast crowd and solidified his image as a great actor despite his fears. As an actor, he too had his downs. Bronson's acting transition was difficult. He was criticized and questioned by underachieving industry members. Even though he accomplished everything via hard effort and merit, some questioned his eligibility for main roles. He surmounted calamities like a 10-year-old who wouldn't tremble before this cartoon industry. Bronson persevered and proved his naysayers wrong with his talent and drive. His efforts paid off. As he made more high-profile films, everyone called him a Hollywood star. Bronson was himself throughout his career. He never wanted to forget his past because he feared drowning in fame and love like his other stars. He sometimes relaxed when he was bored of celebrity renown and brightness. Bronson was a sympathetic artist despite his rough appearance. Painting and sculpting were his hobbies to unwind and calm down. We all know Charles Bronson as the renowned actor who played a rough guy with a gruff appeal that attracted audiences worldwide. He played strong, masculine, no-nonsense characters throughout his career. Despite his rough image, Bronson's relationships were very different from his on-screen ones, revealing a more compassionate side. Bronson didn't adopt his tough guy persona to act well. He became this way from all the horrors he had seen throughout his childhood, which was soaked in poverty and coal mining labor in Pennsylvania. He thought the world would eat a weak person in these early years. His physical scars from working as a laborer showed his resilience and inspired his tough personality in his roles. Tough guys were in demand when he entered Hollywood. People knew he was the right man when they saw that dashing, rugged man with a stoic face and solid build. He suited harsh, uncompromising characters with his imposing demeanor and body language that said, "Don't mess with me." His roles in The Great Escape and the Death Wish series reinforced his reputation as a Hollywood tough guy who was loved for playing gritty, no-nonsense heroes who took issues into their own hands. Charles wasn't just a movie actor. His love tale may have been one of the most controversial of their time. After his first wife separated in 1965, Charles met Jill Ireland, a lovely woman, while filming The Great Escape. Unfortunately, his buddy and co-star David McCallum had marked this maiden. Two weather-connected hearts nevertheless avoided each other. They had a lot of affair when Jill was married to David, causing controversy. David was first upset by the realization, but he left Jill in 1967. They married now that they were free. They married in 1968, a year after she left David. People joked that Jill was participating in so many of her husband's movies because no other actress would feature with Charles. The couple reared 7 children in a Bel Air mansion. 2 came from Charles's former marriage, 3 from Jill's, and 2 from theirs. No man is happy, unfortunately. After his beloved wife was diagnosed with breast cancer, he witnessed an even greater sort of brutality than the misery he encountered as a youngster. She fought cancer aggressively, and her husband supported her throughout. She raised cancer awareness and founded a cancer research charity. Her first book was about her global conflicts. After thinking she was cancer-free, doctors found it had spread to her breasts, lungs, and other organs. Her kid died from drug abuse, therefore she wrote another novel about him during her 3 to 5 years of life. Death arrived as she was writing her third novel. On May 18, 1990, her relatives witnessed her death. She requested champagne and no tears during her funeral. She wanted people to celebrate her life, not grieve her death. Her acting was legendary, who influenced many lives over her career and is still warmly remembered. He married Kim Weeks 8 years after his death and stayed married till his death. The manner Charles Bronson peaked was legendary. He became famous for his peak actions and performances. Even if his ascension was gradual, every step was solid and final. He never surrendered. Charles Bronson's rise from coal mining hamlet to international film celebrity is a legend that should be recorded. After WW2, he went to acting school and worked odd jobs at Pasadena Playhouse to pursue his aspirations. His breakout part was in Drumbeat in 1954, which started his Hollywood climb. Even though Bronson wasn't a starring guy, audiences liked him on screen. His 1974 film Death Wish, where he played vigilante Paul Kersey, was his best. Audiences were glued to him. That guy was so popular that Death Wish had to include a segment. Bronson was versatile beyond vigilante roles. His attention to craft and sincerity influenced generations of actors, and he remains a standard in the entertainment world. As with any celebrity, Charles Bronson faced controversies. Bronson was infamous for being an arrogant and violent off-screen jerk. Even though it sounds far from his screen character, it was a part of him that was revealed to the world. Bronson's attitude often raised questions in the industry and among the public. Bronson fought and brawled with directors, producers, and hell throughout his career. He didn't care about the media. He brawled with a sergeant and shattered his arm in one of his most famous fights. Due to occurrences like this, he was portrayed as a hot-headed, strong person on and off television. It got worse when he refused to shake hands, but he said he was afraid of germs. His refusal to shake the interviewee's hand appeared unconvincing. His appearance in Death with series, where vigilantism was seen as promoting violence, was one of his most contentious roles. Death Wish was about a man who used unscrupulous means to avenge his family. This portrayal of corrupt justice sparked intense disputes about justice. First, don't you think it's classic that people started loathing him for a movie character he portrayed in a set? His acting talents were so convincing that many started identifying vigilantism with Charles Bronson. Press coverage of Bronson bolstered his contentious image. He hated journalists and film critics because he was upset and thought they had no right to pry into his business and disrespect his privacy. We know that media skills translate to public speaking. Charles didn't care about media or social status, therefore it's no surprise that people had a bad view of him. Despite his controversies, Bronson believed in his ideas. He hid his sensitivity under a harsh veneer to protect his family. He received praise and criticism for his career dedication and morality. Bronson's perseverance from the coal mines to the silver screen is legendary. Despite life's challenges, he maintained his passion for acting and became one of Hollywood's most famous tough guys. Bronson created the tough guy look that today's youth emulates with films like The Great Escape and Death Wish. Charles Bronson's legacy went beyond his acting. Behind the scenes, he was a smart businessman who negotiated lucrative contracts to build his fortune. He was one of the highest-paid performers ever due to his top billing and box office success. You must be wondering how high his net worth was to warrant such praise. According to current estimates, his net worth was $75 million. Bronson's prosperity went beyond money. Not at all. It was included with his other possessions: mansions, farms, estates, lands. His wealth would make a modern man envy by counting. All of these showed his industry success and credibility. Despite his fame and money, Bronson remained humble and never forgot his beginnings. Bronson's influence on popular culture was profound. Even without his films, he became a cultural icon whose tough guy character spawned innumerable imitators and solidified his position in action hero history. His name was associated with manliness, sweat, strength, and resolve. All of these attributes make him an icon. Bronson's legacy goes beyond entertainment. A skilled artist, he left behind works that showed his sensitivity, originality, and creative sensitivities. His Binsky paintings and sculptures are still one of his most startling traits. Haimsan, Hafper. He died slowly in his later years. He spent his days remembering his glory days as a young star after being diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He was a legend among legends and a star among stars who lighted countless gloomy hearts. They used to say Bronson aged like a fine wine, which was a good argument because he became more graceful with age. His tough appearance and grim attitude relaxed, revealing a man who enjoyed seclusion and meditation. He left the spotlight that had guided him. He found peace in simple living. But behind the peacefulness was the insidious poisoning of old age that was causing his poor health. Bronson was a beacon of hope in his dying years. He faced his health issues stoically. Even though aging took its toll, he refused to let illness dampen his spirit. Not ordinarily conceivable, but his family's unrelenting support helped him succeed. In his final battle, Bronson remembered all the loved ones he lost. The recollections of those who touched, inspired, and transformed his life returned. He suffered one of his hardest losses when his beloved wife, Jill Ireland, died in 1990, leaving an abyss in his heart that could never be replaced. Their love tale transcended Hollywood glamour. It was a friendship born in rejection and cemented by loyalty. Though pneumonia was the official cause of death, Alzheimer's disease made him too weak over time. His family and loved ones embraced him during his peaceful